Hi, web leaders. I hope that this isn't the first time that you're reviewing the lesson, but whether it is or it isn't, it's no worries. Here is the instructional video for this week's lessons. So in terms of the setup, it's all going to be very similar to what you've done in the past, making sure that if the desks need to be moved, then go ahead and move them. Give yourself some space kind of in the middle of the classroom so that you can either set up chairs in two different lines or possibly just leave the floor open so that people can sit or stand in two different lines, again, in the middle of the classroom. So that's pretty much the setup. And the morning part of the lesson is, of course, very, very much the same in terms of getting to your 6th grade MA and not worrying about getting to your 8th grade MA at all, making sure that you're wearing your web shirt, all of that stuff, making sure that you're talking to the 6th graders and interacting with them prior to even the 8 o'clock bell, and then when the bell rings, listening to the announcements prior to getting the lesson started. You're going to notice in the lesson plan, and again, hopefully you reviewed that plan, but you're going to notice that we have objectives listed. And part of the reason why we did this is because of what you guys told us when we met, I guess it was back in December. So, please take a look at the objectives because we wanted it to be clear and we wanted to make sure that everyone understood what the objectives were. So this lesson's objective is about teamwork and making sure that we work as a team in order to be successful. So once you get the objective stated, you're going to start the activity by having two different sets of teams, equal in number. Okay, and again, you'll have to think about how the teams are going to be set up in advance. So make sure to think about that tonight if you haven't already, and talk with your co-web leader about it as well. And if one of you needs to be involved with one of the teams in order to make them equal, again, make sure to keep that in mind because it should be equal in number. So you're going to have two different teams, and in the back of the line, because you're going to have the teams stand in a single file line or sit in a single file line and face each other. In the back of the line, there's going to be what we call a grab item, and you'll see in your supply bags what the grab item is. And then in the front of the line, and one of the web leaders is going to establish what the front of the line is because they'll go to that part of the line. There will be a penny that you're holding. And the first people in line, in the front of the line, they are going to be called the lookers. And so the web leader is going to go ahead and flip a penny. And when it faces heads, when it turns to heads, that is when a pulse is going to be sent down the line. And when it flips and it goes to tails, no pulse is sent. Now let me tell you a little bit about the pulse. When people are standing in the line, what you're going to have them do is you're going to have them hold hands, or if they feel a little bit more comfortable, they can do the whole pinky hold thing. So when the lookers look at the penny that's flipped, if it faces heads, then what they're going to do is they're going to start sending a pulse, which is basically just a squeeze, whether you're holding hands and squeezing or the pinky hold. They're going to squeeze the pinkies or the hands and send that pulse down the line until you get to the end of the line. And the end of the line, those people are called grabbers. And as soon as the grabber feels a squeeze, they have to try to grab the item first. So that is the activity. And take a look at the scoring that's listed on the lesson plan because teams can lose a point if they send a pulse by accident, or they can gain a point if they're the first ones to grab the grab item. So do take a look at that. After doing the activity, what you're going to do is you're going to have some process questions. Now remember, at the meeting that we had last month, we ended up talking about strategies, right? Strategies for these types of conversations and process questions. So make sure to take a look at those documents or the strategies that I listed in the document, because I think that will help you. So look at those process questions. They are questions related to, what are the different roles in this activity? What does it take to make a team successful, etc. And those strategies, like things like, tell me more about that, or what do you mean by that? Give me an example. Those are ways to pull people out into the conversation and extend that conversation. After the process questions, make sure to clean up the classroom, get the desks back in order, etc. Make sure you're saying goodbye and high fives to your sixth graders, and then make sure to put everything back into your supply bag and keep your supply bag in the sixth grade MA because you'll need it for tomorrow. So hope this was a good review of the lesson, and I hope things go well, and we'll talk to you soon.